Tristan. Go, it's Tristan. Weird.
Tourette's. Here we come.
I don't remember names. Robbie? Just so I kind of, just remembering names. So EMF meters we're going to talk about after we start getting some readings. Just so you know, when we're on our sidewalks, you can ignore your readings. Reason why, the parking meters will make them go off. Those electrical lines are underneath the sidewalks. So just kind of keep that in mind. So again, I'm not out to falsify information. Tristan's already on it. By the way, if you have a camera, hit that record button. It's got these things rolling. So, welcome to a parking lot. Congratulations, you made it. I told you I was taking you to weird spots. So this place used to be something, which is exactly why we are here. This place used to be the Charles and Eliza Pinckney Mansion. Or mansion.
Sorry. So this is the Indigo.
Yes.
Sorry.
Exactly. So, did you all read it? Oh, just you. Okay. So this will all be very familiar to you then, because that's exactly who we're going to be discussing. So, the mansion actually sat in the front of this space facing East Bay Street. Eliza's garden was lined up with Five Church Restaurant and came all the way across, and we are standing in the servant and slave quarters for the home. So, who the heck were Charles and Eliza Pinckney? By the way, all you communication devices, this is where I start withholding information on purpose. I'm not going to be giving you questions like what color was George Washington's white horse, like what we did with the Big Red Barn, right? You're going to get the answers from your communication device. So, with this place, Charles and Eliza had a son named Charles and a nephew named Charles. That's 3 different Charleses, in case you weren't paying attention. That's why we look for those secondary clues, because in the event that somebody hears the name Charles, I need to know which one it is. So that way we know how to communicate back. But the son and the nephew were signers of the Constitution for South Carolina. It's a big deal for us, but I hate politics. If I do not give them that recognition, they will give me a very nasty message through a spirit box. So kind of that's exactly, I just give them the recognition. We move on because we're going to be discussing Eliza instead. Eliza marries Charles at a young age according to today's standards. I say that because if you're going to ask her how old she was when she got married, don't expect numbers from the colonial days that she came from, like 12 and 14, when young ladies got married. Think of today's standards because the husband was over double her age. Kind of a creepy age gap back then, a creepy age gap now. But anyway, she married Charles because her father was over in England, where they're from, and he thinks he's dying. So he's trying to bring all of his children home one last time. Eliza doesn't believe he's dying, so she stays put and gets married. It's 1744. You don't get married in that year to get a green card. We're not a country. So she did marry Charles out of love. This is a true love story. This is not some kind of hoary, horror kind of story. So kind of keep that in mind. Keep in mind with people walking through here when we're filming, just so you guys know, just be very cautious. People do not like their cars to be filmed at all, by the way. Especially, oh damn it, I lost names again. Brandy. Especially with Brandy's camera, just because it's a thermal, and if I was a car thief, that would be the only tool I need besides a crowbar. So you guys get the point. Anyway, back to Eliza and Charles. I know, right? Yeah, what kind of teenagers here? Eliza was right. Her father did not die right away. Instead, he starts sending her gifts from England to exactly where you're standing right now. One of those gifts happens to be the plant seeds of indigo. Indigo is a plant that makes blue dye that makes our blue jeans blue. That's how we use it today. However, when Eliza got the seeds, she didn't know what to do with them. She had to learn from her servants and slaves how to keep it cultivated. It's not always warm here, believe it or not. So when she figured that out, she learned how to make the dye and then moved it to a cash crop down by the Stone River. Got a hold of Dad and told him rice plantation prices are going downhill. We're going to make a killing with this indigo. And we now have an international businesswoman during colonial times. Something absolutely unheard of. So that's kind of the boring business stuff of Eliza. Let's get into the weird shit. That's why you guys are all here. So with the spirit boxes, I'm going to assign questions and focal questions. So keep in mind that with all these communication devices, the answers can go anywhere. So if you're asking a question, it might come over here. We never know where it's going to fall. I always use a minimum of 2 communication devices, not to mention the voice recording and all of the audio from the cameras. So it can go anywhere. So you guys are going to literally tell me all the weird shit that you guys are hearing. That's kind of the whole point of this, because you don't know what questions are being asked elsewhere. So with Mark and Barbara, the two of you are going to have the same set of questions based on the type of spirit box that you guys have.
Okay.
So you guys are going to be asking about Eliza's death. She's pretty open about talking about it. So you can ask the 4 major things that we commonly get answers to: how old she was when she died, what she died from, where she's buried, and which president was a pallbearer at her funeral. So these are 4 major things that are obviously not yes or no questions. If you guys do go rogue with your questions, by the way, just make sure they're not yes or no, and you're very respectful. This is a place of respect. So again, we won't get answers or EMF readings if we don't show respect to the space.
What were the 4 questions again? How old she was?
So age, how, where is she buried, and president. Where's my next spirit boxes? So we're gonna go Lynn and Tish. You guys kind of have the same type of questions as well, because yours, if it gives us anything, will hopefully be initials. Eliza, that I just told you about, is the second wife named Eliza from Charles back to back. So both Elizas, by the way, they were only 5 months apart. The first wife dies in January of 1744. 5 months later, he marries the one I just told you about. So kind of a jerk move, right? Exactly. Oh, depending on what kind of color you are, I guess. But anyway, so Tish, you're going to be looking for Eliza's maiden name, because they both start with the letter L. That way we know which one we're dealing with. You're going to be looking for Eliza's initials in order, E-L-P. So I'm obviously not going to tell you what those maiden names are, so that way you're, obviously going to ask some focus questions. Where's my next spirit box? Who has the one that's open there? Cool. So yours. Usually give us only 1 to 2 syllable answers. So with yours, the mansion's not here unless you can see it in ID. So you're going to ask what happens. If we get to what? We normally will get 2 or 3, now we'll get to 3 of when that actually occurred. And then you know that it's somehow. So we're trying to keep that in mind. So again, your answers can go anywhere. So have you gotten any EMF readings at all while we've been here? So just so you know, this space will give us an average of 18 to 22. That's an average. It has gone much, much higher than that.
Stable.
Stay stable tonight, apparently. So just kind of keep an eye on it. Let me know if you guys get any numbers out of those, because again, it's normally an average of 18.
18. You said 18.0.
Yeah. 18.0.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's high for any other space, but this one, that's the average. Just a few nights ago, when I did have a voice, we actually got, I think it was 147 was the high read for that night. So again, it's different every time we come in here. So we're going to stay away from the vehicles, but we are going to spread out. I'm going to do a round robin with everybody. Or you might get the answers from what any other person's asking too. So you can cherry pick the questions, ask what happened to the mansion. You can ask Eliza about it. Yeah.
But you're saying that
Yes, you got it.
Can you ask him out loud?
Whatever you want to do. So there's no right or wrong way to do it. You can ask them out loud. You can just stay focused on it. However you want, whatever you're comfortable with. Some people
And
are.
did you say how old she was when she was married?
No. I'm not giving you those answers yet.
Okay.
I reveal them at the
if I'm
end.
missing something.
Nope, you got it.
give a lot of info, and I was making sure.
I know. I talk fast.
Yeah, that was great.
That's why I have to make sure I have a voice when we do this.
Saddle.
Saddle. I like it. You just don't know the big one. A little bit of bleed over. I like it.
47.
Go ahead, lift it out and look. There's something there.
I'll show you a few extra things about that guy. So when you get a full row, what you have now, it's going to start overwriting the letters.
Yes.
So you're going to take the big green dial and counterclockwise, turn it off, and go back to 1 o'clock. Give
Okay.
yourself a nice fresh, because it will just start overwriting it, and we don't need any false positives.
Okay.
So just kind of clear it out, and if you can't make anything out of it, I probably won't be able to. So again, a lot of people are like, hey, can you take a look at this? Before I clear it? Like, it's already overwriting.
Fighting.
This is the sensitivity down here. So in this space, I'm going to crank it all the way up because we're not supposed to have any electricity in here. So that way it'll pick up everything. We might get an interference here and there, but you can usually make out the anagrams. So did you see anything before you cleared it? But I had all the letters of Eliza with the interference of you. So I was actually really excited about it. So I was hoping that the thing was going to work on a regular basis, and it started getting slower and slower. Turning the letters all night long. Just felt like we had contact. Word. Obviously, I worked out that word. So what's too high?
15 minutes.
Did you get out of there?
It's weird, like, These are words.
Yeah.
Whatever.
So if you hear 15 minutes, is that what you heard?
Yeah.
Exactly? Okay. But 47 is relevant.
What's that?
The 47 was relevant. Do you remember why?
Age of the.
Hey, John.
Posted.
Oh, from when you get.
No, that was over time.
What do you see?
Nothing.
Any numbers showing up on there? Tristan, anything weird coming out of there yet? That you can see? It will pick up shadows. I'm sure you picked up on that already.
Saw some stuff in there.
Okay. Anything with leaves in it is not your friend. Just so you know, all leaves are in front of another leaf.
95.
So if you have something from a tree or a bush or anything of that nature, I usually debunk it pretty
Baby.
quickly. You're at 95.
SH. Look it. Do you see over that corner? Nothing?
Very. Yeah. Footwear. Yeah. Garbage. Matches. Way two.
It's pretty accurate at this point.
Okay.
So
Try going closer wouldn't put it through.
no. I put this about 100 yards out. It's pretty accurate.
Okay.
Tested this
I was just
for a
first
few
thing I
spaces.
seen under 70.
Yeah, I get it.
Is it this parking lot or that one?
It actually overlapped, but I'm actually going to rein everybody in. I've done that one round robin to kind of get a little bit of just what's going on here. So, all right, everybody, let's bring it on back. Let's see what we got going on here. Yeah, go ahead and hit your stop button. Same thing on the camera. You can have a little bit of a break. And you can actually lower that camera. You don't have to hold it up the whole night. Like, you can just hold it at the ground. Did you get anything else coming out of yours?
The word frame.
Losing that, you're gonna go nuts.
Yeah, take a break.
Yeah. So, two doctors got to fight, a little shot at each other, one shot in the knee. I got
Shut up in the air.
yeah.
The guy with the knee died 2 days later. Then you piece out of the cooked chicken.
Yeah.
He was, yeah. Oh, yeah. Then?
What do you got now?
I know. Yeah, I literally heard these people yell. Specifically, the Lord. The Lord.
Savannah, for about a year. I'll be moving to New Orleans. Orleans. Can't wait. So I'm stoked. So you said DUE on that, right? Not DEW?
DUE.
Perfect. Anything else that was heard on spirit boxes?
The number 15 and the Lord.
The Lord, welcome.
I heard Lord too.
I
Lord
heard the
left.
Lord. And then the number 15, I heard the number 15, and then we just walked by. As soon as I heard it, I looked down, and the number 15 was on the parking space.
I got 10.
My spirit box said, what up, what up?
Did it really? What up? I think there's a comma in
What
between
up?
those. I like it. I like it. Where's our word list? What do we got going on now?
So Randy jumped, pushed me,
Pushed me?
her brother's name
Is he still with us? Is he alive? I mean, I hate to ask rude questions like that, but again, you guys get my point. And this is what I do for a living. So
Nick Short.
Nick is short.
That Randy then.
I guess that's better than being ugly.
You're taller than I am.
All right, so with this location, EMF readings, 2.5 is exciting in this location, just so you guys know. So when we start spreading out, because we will be able to spread out here once we get through the history, the 2 electrical poles in the corners of the lot, parking meters on the other side of the bushes. So don't get excited. The closer you get to that, the higher those EMF readings go. I normally get more excited about things back here. Tristan, this wall behind me is not your friend. It will look like an army of stick people all the way down, because again, all leaves are in front of another leaf. So we're here because of the gunpowder magazine. That's the tiny little building in the front with the crosses on it. Those are not crosses. Those are earthquake bolts. If you're not familiar with what the hell earthquake bolts are, I think somebody said that they're from California here. You guys are gonna giggle when I tell you about this because I normally get laughed at. Earthquake bolts are turnbuckles. If we have another earthquake like what we did in 1886, you can tighten up those turnbuckles and it tightens the building so it doesn't incur further damage. It's a great idea, it just doesn't work. And bring them up because it's part of the reason of why we're here. those earthquake bolts were the first set of earthquake bolts that Charleston ever put in because it's the oldest government building in South Carolina. It was finished in 1713. That building was being constructed at the same time that Anne Bonny was coming here to start her new life, which is why we're here. It's what I call a familiar. So for the TV show and YouTube watchers, they use that Boo Buddy. So basically a teddy bear with that blinky light EMF meter in it. So if a child gets near it, it goes off because the child will recognize it as a toy. Think of that concept as this building. We don't have many buildings this old. So again, it's a big roll of the dice if Anne Bonny's going to be here at the same time we are, but we're going to have some fun with this and hopefully get things from Dr. Ladd as well. Let's get into Anne's story. The building took 10 years to build. Does that sound like our government? Small building, 10 years? No, not at all. But anyway, the history of Anne starts right in the middle of it. So try to follow me. There's a couple of twists here. I'll slow down on the twist if I can. 1708, the young lady moves here from Ireland. Her name is Anne Cormac. She comes here with her father and his mistress. The mistress is Anne's mother. Y'all with me so far?
Yep.
3 of them are running away from her father's angry wife. How mad was the wife that she kicked them out of the damn country by boat? There's no planes in 1708. So they landed in Georgetown. That's between us and Myrtle Beach, about an hour and a half north. Dad bought a plantation up there, and Mom died pretty quickly. That means Dad is now sending young Anne down here to Charlestown to sell things from that plantation to keep things afloat. So back home in Ireland, Anne was said to be a badass back then. They say when she was 7, 8, 9 years old, remember it's pirate lore, nothing is exact, they say she killed a servant with a knife to the belly. Can't tell you how many times we've had servant, knife, and belly all show up on 3 different boxes, and nobody knows what the other 2 people have. Fast forward, the building's done in 13. By 1715, pirates are starting to come through Charlestown. Anne's pretty stoked. The reason why, she's going to fall in love with one of these pirates so she can earn her freedom, just like a man. So, the first guy she falls in love with, and I said first because there's a handful. That's what makes the story so damn good. That's what we're going to talk about. First guy is James Bonny. You already see where this one's going because I already told you her pirate name. Dad didn't approve. They ran away to Jamaica. They got married. Anne Cormac is now Anne Bonny. That's where her pirate name came from. However, when they get down there, she realizes her new husband is not the Captain Jack Sparrow that she was hoping for. This guy turns out to be a privateer. He's a spy for the British. He's a coward. This isn't who she wants. She falls in love again. Guy number 2. Guy number 2 is John Rackham. Everybody calls him Calico Jack. Calico Jack is basically the guy they based your Johnny Depp character off of, in case you're wondering who this guy is, by the way. He has his own crew. He has his own ship and wants to be part of the crew. Cannot put a female on a pirate ship. Does anybody know why? It is bad luck. Thank you for keeping it family friendly. I get a lot of weird answers to that one. So, I get it. Like if there's little kids in the tour, I make sure I don't throw that question out there because again, I get all the adults going, I'm not answering that one. But anyway, so he makes a deal with her. If you dress like a guy, look like the crew, you can be part of the crew. She's okay with this because Dad used to cross-dress her as a boy apprentice back home in Ireland to hide her from his wife. She gets it. It's a man's room. So, but she's a lady in his quarters. Most of us are adults here. Let's put 2 and 2 together. She's eventually going to get pregnant. You cannot have a pregnant pirate dude on the crew. Somebody's going to figure out that she's a girl and they're going to get rid of Jack as captain because it's a democracy. They'll just vote him off. He drops her off in Cuba. What do you got?
IRS.
So he drops her off in Cuba. Have the baby here with these friends of mine. They'll help you out and come back later. We'll figure it out then. She goes and has that baby but returns without a baby. We have no idea what happened to the child. But she comes back dressed as a female. This makes Jack pretty angry. To make him even more mad, she's going to go flirting with the pirate crew that he just captured. Go down below Dad. Guy number 3. Guy number 3 turns out to be a female, dressed like a guy, to be part of the crew that Calico Jack just captured. Her name is Mary Reed. She went by Mark Reed to become part of that crew. Her and Mary become friends, possibly lovers. We're not going to really know for sure because of the time frame. But the British find out where they are. They send a fleet of ships to take down one pirate ship. The rumor is that Anne and Mary were the only 2 pirates not drunk enough to come up and fight with 1-bullet guns. They don't know how to use cannons yet. They haven't been pirates for very long. So, obviously, 2 ladies with 1-bullet flintlocks are not going to take on a whole fleet of Navy ships. They get arrested. As they're being arrested, Anne looks at her captain in bow, Calico Jack. She says, I'm so sorry to see you here, but if you would have fought like a man, you wouldn't be hanged like a dog. The word dog shows up on your communication a lot. The judge wants to see the 2 quote-unquote men that fought back so valiantly on their own. He's already tried and hung Calico Jack a few days prior and the drunken pirates that wouldn't fight. They're dead and gone. 2 ladies go in front of the judge and reveal their gender, hoping to save themselves. The judge could give a damn. They are female. They are pirates in his eyes. He's still going to hang them. They scream out, we plead our bellies, because they're claiming to be pregnant, because you cannot hang a pregnant woman in 1720. It's illegal. So they did save themselves. He delays the hanging, sends them both back to jail, but Dad is still up here in South Carolina with all of his Irish money. He bails out Anne and brings her home. She remarries. That's husband number 2, but guy number 4. We're going to count Mary because we don't really know. She has 4 children, dies at the age of 84. Very abrupt ending because we do not know much anything about her after her pirate career, and it's all speculative. So I'm not about to throw myths and legends at you. So I'm only giving you what it came from, a minimum of so many resources. Mary Reed died 5 months later in that Jamaican jail from whatever pirates died from in a Jamaican jail. Most books would tell you something like fever, something very simple. I say, let's make it romantic and call it scurvy. Why the hell not? I mean, we are talking pirates here. So I'm not going to assign questions here. This is a place where you can ask whatever the hell you want to. I'm just going to point out a few things I left out on purpose. The names of Anne Bonny's parents, the father and the mistress. I did not tell you what those specific names were. The name of Calico Jack's ship that she joined. The city where she grew up in Ireland. And the color of her hair, which you can all guess and be correct, which she's the red-haired, green-eyed Irish woman. So, again, I usually give that to people with a spirit box that they're struggling with, so that way it's an easy one-syllable answer that they can grab. Everything else is up in the air. Again, we're going to spread out, have some fun, and just stay away from the, what do we got, 4 vehicles in here? Where's my Phasm cam? Who's got that one? The one with the handle and the big lights. The biggest orb I've ever caught with that guy was near that, and it was bigger than my head. It appeared in frame, like manifested, came near me, I didn't even know it was there, turned, and then went up and disappeared in frame. Bigger than my head. So again, biggest one I've ever caught has been by that wall up there by the building, just so you have an idea. Definitely not any light flare. But yeah, let's spread out, let's have some fun in here, let's do this. Kind of a crazy one. Again, you guys are all looking at me like, this is the craziest thing we've ever done in our life. We've got all kinds of things going on. I like numbers. Any readings at all? Not bad. Alright, let me see that word list.
My long hair beauty.
Back to the home screen. So you see these numbers moving around? That's the radio stations. It's those things are just the way they are. If it recognizes something, it moves it out of its 9100 feet rotation. That's why it does this.
What do you see?
cord though?
Yeah.
Like he was right.
And slow.
Does that wall look, of that edge look like he said? Lots of sticks?
Kristen, how you doing with that thing, man? Anything show up for you?
A little.
Nothing. So hopefully you're getting some decent footage. Like a radio station 1035.
Not doing anything right now. That is so cool.
What was that? Was it something that just like blinked? Oh, there.
Oh, did you see it?
Yeah. What the heck?
Keep looking, please.
Chris, if you move that real fast, does it do that or do it just here? And only here.
I don't know. I'm not getting much.
What's that?
I don't know. I'm not getting much.
When you moved it quick, pretty quickly around, all of a sudden, the pink figure, but no more. But that was so weird. Why don't you ask him? You good?
Alright, perfect. Anything crazy? What's that?
No, Nope.
Yes.
Yeah, again, kind of a dud. But again, we also don't know what was being missed in real time either. So, just so you know, come on in closer, guys. I think I got most of your names down, by the way. If I screwed up anybody's name, I call you guys anybody's different name.
No, it's alright. We told you.
I see a lot of you guys every week. So,
Just don't call me Noel.
oh, you got, that was on you guys. You guys switched spots on me.
So I got Amanda No.
Amanda, no. Laid over from the doctor. His fiance was Amanda. So it's probably the only thing we have over here. So, I gave you guys that warning at the top of our night about the headache, nausea, dizziness. So this location is part of the reason why. So 2 years ago, month of September, I took my team to the back like I always do because the other tours like to come up catty corner. And the kid next to me, he's probably 21, 22 years old. He starts to faint. It's September. Temperature's a little bit cooler than this. There's no reason for this kid to be fainting. I had to pick him up by his armpit so he doesn't hit his head on the ground. His boyfriend picked him up from the other side of him. We brought him over here, got him some water.
I really don't hear anything.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. I can hear Ed.
Okay. Tell me when it's too much.
That's good.
Okay. All right, perfect. It is 10:49. We're gonna go for 10 minutes. We do have one image so far. Henry Timrod, if you can push through, this is Mark. He can hear whatever you want us to hear.
Great.
And Nicole can see any visuals you want to give us. So far, she's seen something of nature.
What?
Oh,
Seriously. Aldo?
Henry, let's start off with something about your occupation.
Really?
Can you tell us something about your occupation, please? What you did for a living? Let's keep it nice and light to get started. Henry? So when you have something, just shout them out. Okay. I've seen you looking around. No, we're just testing it. Henry Timrod, can you push through and tell us something about your occupation?
Lower. Knee replacement.
Henry, did you bring somebody else with you? Is there somebody else here? Can you give us their name? Henry Timrod.
Going north. Sees November.
Can you tell us the name of who else came with you here today?
Metal. Side.
Henry, we'll take images as well. Cole can see whatever you want us to see. I asked about your occupation, or if you brought somebody else here with you.
Happy now.
Henry, do you want to talk about your wife tonight? Can you tell us her first name? If you guys are getting things on your other spirit boxes, just shout them out. For a wordless time. Henry, I need you to push through. Tell us something about your occupation, verify that you're here, or if you brought somebody with you. You said the word knee replacement. He was doing so well earlier.
Confident. Obey.
Henry, let's keep it nice and simple. Let's talk about what you did for a living, what you love to do. quiet. Let's try to have a conversation. This is how we learn about you. Right at the month of October. I know that was a rough month for you. Month of mourning between you and your son. We're away from October. What do you want to tell us? Just asking simple questions about your work. Not asking any of the gory things that people normally
Free
would.
consultation.
What do you say? Free consultation.
Get
Knee
upside out next.
replacement. It's a doctor.
Well, the knee replacement thing could be relevant. That's why I was asking if there was somebody else here. Dr. Ladd lived 0.3 miles over this way, so we get him slipping through from time to time.
Need cash.
Need cash. Need cash. Cool, nothing at all. You falling asleep in there?
No, I mean that image that I first saw
All is
was so clear that I thought it was
What?
supposed to be there.
Mm.
And then it just disappeared.
Yeah, that's the point. It's supposed to just generate images.
something out there.
Anyway, we don't do this for a long period of time, and you haven't given us anything yet. And the lack of images tells me that you might not even be here. So if you're not here, and there is somebody else here, give us your first name.
Industry.
I see like some bushes.
Okay. Is that it?
It seems like there's like a brick building behind it. But it's really
Ouch.
hard to make out.
Ouch. Two images.
Able to see.
Yeah, we blindfold these folks.
Realm.
Henry, tell us what's in this picture. I
Bones.
don't fully understand it.
There's some windows of
Journal.
Big journal. Finally. What's with the windows?
well, now it's
Policies.
sort of like black
Train.
cars.
Henry, tell me about this journal of yours. The last page. What about it? Well, I'm gonna go for another minute or so here, Henry.
Come on. Is here. You can do.
The white folks. Who is here?
Rivalwood.
I didn't understand what he said.
Yeah, over that house now.
Henry, we're gonna wrap this up just to be respectful. Can you say goodnight back to us? Or you could just tell us to go home. I'm okay with that too. Henry, do you want us to go home?
Blowing. It's the
I hear the word go ahead. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
lies.
Go ahead and go.
Okay. I'm gonna call it. Henry, have a good night. I will see you tomorrow. Go ahead and tap them out for me, Lynn. Yep, peel that thing off your face. Let's take a look at these images. The only thing that came out of that was journal, because this guy was a writer. So I'm going to show you guys these images that she saw, and then of course will be in your